Pay close attention to what I'm about to tell you now. Have you ever stopped to wonder why that impossibly beautiful woman, who seems to have been born with every privilege in the world, sometimes carries emotional baggage heavier than a moving truck? The truth almost no one realizes is that extreme beauty functions like a golden cage. On the outside, everyone admires the shine. On the inside, it's a prison of expectations and pressures you can't even imagine. I guarantee you one thing. After the next few minutes, you'll never look at an extremely attractive woman the same way again. And this could save you years of frustration and toxic relationships. You know that feeling of talking to a Greek goddess and out of nowhere, noticing signs of emotional instability that don't make sense? You're not crazy. There's a deep psychological explanation for this, and few men actually apply this knowledge. Let me be direct with you. If you keep ignoring these dynamics, you'll get stuck in an endless cycle. First, you idealize the beautiful woman. Then, you get frustrated when she exhibits behaviors you didn't expect. Finally, you question your own ability to maintain a healthy relationship. Do you think the problem is you? Wake up, man. The problem isn't you. It's your lack of understanding about what really goes on in the minds of women who've lived under the spotlight of extreme beauty since adolescence. Think with me. Imagine living in a giant aquarium where everyone observes you all the time. Every move you make is analyzed. Every choice is judged. Every relationship is questioned. Can you feel the weight of that constant social pressure? Now multiply that by 20 years of life. That's what many extremely attractive women experience from a very young age. I spent over a decade studying these patterns. I observed hundreds of cases up close. And what I discovered is an ultra-rare secret I'm going to share with you now. Extreme beauty isn't a pure blessing. It's a two-edged sword that cuts both ways. I'm going to show you 5 psychological signs that explain why very attractive women frequently develop specific emotional problems. And more importantly, how you can use this understanding to navigate these relationships with emotional intelligence. Number 1. The prison of external validation. From childhood, she learned that her worth is directly tied to her appearance. When you grow up hearing you're beautiful all the time, your brain creates a chemical dependence on that validation. It's like a drug, literally. The brain releases dopamine every time she receives a compliment about her beauty. But here's the problem no one talks about. This validation is superficial. It's based on something she doesn't fully control, and that will disappear over time. So she lives in a race against the clock, trying to maintain something that's impossible to maintain forever. Have you ever noticed how some beautiful women seem obsessed with minor flaws that don't even exist? That's it. It's the constant fear of losing the only source of worth she knows. External validation becomes a golden cage she can't escape. Does that make sense to you? Number 2. The paradox of infinite choice. Imagine having 1,000 restaurant options for dinner every night. Sounds great? Studies show that an excess of choices leads to paralysis and dissatisfaction. Now apply that to relationships. An extremely attractive woman receives constant male attention. Dozens of messages a day, endless invitations, men falling at her feet. Do you think that makes it easier to find a suitable partner? Think again. It's the exact opposite. The more options, the harder it is to choose. And worse, she develops a mindset that she can always have something better. Why settle for you if someone even more interesting might appear tomorrow? This paradox creates a vicious cycle. She's never completely satisfied. There's always the feeling that she's missing out on something better, and in the end, she ends up alone or in superficial relationships that don't fill the emotional void. Pay attention to this detail. It's not arrogance. It's a psychological consequence of having too many options. The human brain wasn't programmed to handle an extreme abundance of choices. It short-circuits. Can you visualize this scenario? Number 3. The curse of constant performance. She can't just exist. Every public appearance is a performance. Every Instagram photo needs to be perfect. Every social gathering turns into a stage where she needs to maintain her image. Remember this. When you live performing all the time, you lose touch with who you really are. The public persona swallows the real person, and this creates a deep psychological dissociation. Do you know what happens when someone lives a lie for too long? The brain starts to confuse reality with fiction. She herself no longer knows where the performance ends and the real person begins. That's why many extremely beautiful women seem empty in deep conversations. It's not a lack of intelligence. It's that they've spent so much time cultivating the surface that they've forgotten to develop depth. Think of an actress who played the same role for 20 years. At some point, she forgets who she was before the role. That's exactly what happens to women who've lived the role of the perfect woman since adolescence. Do you grasp the complexity of this? Number 4. Female social isolation. Here's something almost no one realizes. Extremely attractive women frequently don't have true female friends. Why? Envy, competition, insecurity from other women around her. Imagine trying to make friends when every woman around you sees you as a threat, when their boyfriends and husbands stare at you, when you're automatically excluded from female groups because your presence creates discomfort. Now add another element. Men only want friendship with her for ulterior motives, so she can't have genuine male friends either. The result? Deep loneliness masked by thousands of social media followers. Can you imagine the psychological pressure of not having anyone to truly talk to, of not having a shoulder to lean on that doesn't want something? In return, it's a form of isolation few understand. Studies show that social isolation is as harmful as smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. Now multiply that by years of life. The result is anxiety problems, depression, and self-destructive behaviors. Does it make sense now why she seems emotionally unstable? Number 5. The valuable object syndrome. Pay close attention to this point because it's the most subtle and devastating. When you're treated as a valuable object from childhood, you internalize that view. She doesn't see herself as a person. She sees herself as a trophy. And trophies don't have feelings that matter. Trophies exist to be displayed. Trophies don't have the right to complain. Trophies must always shine. This creates a brutal disconnection from her own emotions. She learns to suppress negative feelings because trophies don't get sad. She ignores her needs because trophies don't have needs. Do you know what happens when someone suppresses emotions for too long? They explode in unpredictable ways. Anxiety attacks, impulsive behaviors, chaotic relationships. It's like a pressure cooker. You can keep it capped for a while, but eventually it explodes. And when it explodes, the damage is enormous. That's why you see beautiful women in abusive relationships or with destructive addictions. Can you connect the dots now? Now I'm going to reveal the distorted mirror framework that explains all of this even more deeply. First mirror, that of validation. She looks at herself and doesn't see who she is. She sees the reflection of what others expect from her. Each compliment further distorts the image. Each social media like adds another layer of distortion. In the end, she no longer recognizes the person in the mirror. Second mirror, that of projection. Everyone projects their fantasies onto her. Some see the perfect woman. Others see the savior of their problems. Some see only a body. No one sees the real person behind the beauty. Third mirror, that of insecurity. And here's the great irony few apply in practice. The more beautiful, the more insecure. Why? Because she knows her source of value is temporary. Every wrinkle is a threat. Every extra pound is a terror. Every birthday is a reminder that time is passing. Now let me address a common objection. You might be thinking that not every beautiful woman has these problems, that this is a generalization. I guarantee you I'm not saying all of them do. I'm showing the specific challenges that extreme beauty creates. It's about probability and social pressure. Some handle it better, others worse. But the challenges exist for everyone. It's like being very wealthy. Not every millionaire is unhappy, but money creates specific challenges that those without it don't face. The same logic applies to extreme beauty. Do you understand the difference? Now imagine this scene. An elegant party, one of those with expensive champagne and important people. In the center of the room, a stunning woman, a red dress clinging to her body, perfect hair, impeccable makeup. All eyes converge on her. Men approach with calculated smiles. Women whisper in corners. Camera flashes capture every angle. But if you pay real attention, you'll notice something. Her eyes hold a subtle melancholy. Her smile doesn't quite reach her eyes. Between conversations, when she thinks no one is watching, the mask drops for a second. It's in these moments that you see the real person, tired of the performance, exhausted by social pressure, desperate for a genuine connection but not knowing how to get one. Always remember this when interacting with extremely attractive women. Behind the perfect facade is a person dealing with pressures you can't even imagine. I'm not telling you to feel pity. I'm telling you to have understanding, because understanding is power. When you understand the dynamics, you don't fall into traps. You don't idealize because you know no one is perfect. You don't get frustrated by strange behaviors because you understand where they come from. You don't question your own worth because you understand that the problem isn't you. Even more importantly, when you show that you see beyond the surface, you stand out. Because believe me, she's tired of men who only see the exterior. She yearns for someone who sees the real person. But be careful. Don't become her therapist. Don't try to save her. Just show that you understand the complexities without judgment. That is ultra rare in her world. Do you know how many men actually apply this knowledge? Less than 1%. Most remain stuck in idealization or resentment. You now have an absurd competitive advantage. Now I'm going to give you a simple rule to apply all of this. The 70-20-10 rule. 70% of the time, treat her like a normal person. Normal conversation. Normal jokes. No pedestal, no adoration. Just genuine human interaction. 20% of the time, acknowledge her beauty, but in a different way. Not the obvious. Compliment choices, not genetics. Compliment effort, not outcome. Compliment character, not appearance. 10% of the time, directly address the pressures she faces. With understanding, not pity. With curiosity, not judgment. Showing that you see beyond the golden cage. Does this division make sense? Now pay attention, because I'm going to tell you something that can change everything. Most men make the same mistake. They either idolize or demonize beautiful women. Neither approach works. Idolizing places her on an impossible pedestal. Demonizing creates toxic resentment. The solution? Humanize. See the complete person, with qualities and flaws, pressures and privileges. When you humanize, you connect for real. And true connection is what she desires most and finds least. It's what differentiates you from all the other men in her life. Always remember, the golden cage is real. The social pressure is overwhelming. External validation is addictive. Performance is exhausting. Isolation is painful. But none of this is an excuse for toxic behavior. Understanding doesn't mean accepting everything. It means navigating with intelligence. It means choosing your battles. It means knowing when to invest and when to retreat. You now have an internal radar that few men possess, a radar that detects the signs, that understands the patterns, that predicts behaviors. Use this knowledge wisely, not to manipulate, not to take advantage, but to create deeper connections and healthier relationships, because ultimately everyone wants the same thing: to be seen, to be understood, to be accepted, including that impossibly beautiful woman who seems to have it all. Do you realize now how everything connects? Extreme beauty creates a parallel reality, a reality where privileges and problems mix in complex ways, where what seems like a blessing can be a curse, where what everyone desires can be a source of deep suffering. I'm not romanticizing the problems of beautiful people. I'm showing a truth almost no one realizes, a truth that can completely transform the way you relate to others. Imagine being able to talk to that stunning woman without nervousness, without idealization, without insecurity, because you understand the game. You see through the social matrix that traps both her and you. It's liberating, isn't it? Now, I'm going to be direct with you one last time. This knowledge I've shared is rare, very rare. Most men will die without understanding these dynamics. They'll remain stuck in cycles of frustration and idealization. You don't have to be one of them. You now have the tools, you have the understanding, you have a calibrated internal radar. The question is, will you apply it, or will you let this knowledge die in theory? Because knowledge without action is just entertainment, and you didn't watch this far to be entertained. You want real results. You want better relationships. You want deeper connections. So do it now, before you forget. Like this video if it opened your eyes, Subscribe to the channel for more insights no one else is sharing. And most importantly, start applying this new perspective today. Remember the golden cage. When you meet that impossibly beautiful woman, don't just see the exterior shine, see the person trapped inside the cage, and be that rare guy who offers a key instead of more bars. That's what separates ordinary men from extraordinary men. The ability to see beyond the obvious, to understand beyond the superficial, to connect beyond the physical. You are now part of a select group. Use this power responsibly and observe how your interactions with attractive women completely transform. The golden cage still exists, but now you know how to open the door.